Hey everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today for my review of the 2023 Volvo C40 Recharge Twin. The Volvo C40 is technically Volvo's first exclusively EV vehicle, and it was introduced only last year. The C40 is built off Volvo's compact modular platform and shares its powertrain most of its interior with its EV sibling, the XC40 Recharge. Mechanically speaking, both the XC40 and C40 are nearly identical, and for all intents and purposes, they will drive very similarly. They both employ a 78 kWh battery and are available with dual electric motors in the axles, which together put out 402 horsepower and 490 foot-pounds of torque. Instead, Volvo changed the design style of the C40, moving from an SUV to more of a sporty coupe. The Volvo C40 employs a sleek and lower design, pulling the roof down nearly 3 inches and introducing a crossover-style look. Real-world range is around 350 kilometers or 220 miles of EV range. However, you can expect to eke out a little more range from the C40 due to the more aerodynamic roofline. The difference in the vehicles lie primarily in the aesthetics and whether you prefer either a coupe crossover styling with the C40 or the more traditional SUV styling of the XC40. Because of the huge similarities between the XC40 and C40, this review is going to be a little bit different. Last year I reviewed the excellent Volvo XC40 Recharge, link in the description below. Rather than just reviewing essentially the same vehicle, this review will be more of a buyer's guide comparing both the C40 and the XC40. I will still review the C40, but by the end I hope that you'll have a better idea of which vehicle is better for you. So in the review, I'll first go into a quick dive into the background of Volvo's transition from a gas car manufacturer to an EV one before moving to what makes the C40 and XC40 similar but also different. At the end, I'll wrap up my opinions on the C40, who I think will be best served by it. So let's get this review started. The C40 is based off the XC40 Recharge, and the XC40 Recharge was first introduced in late 2017 as a gas-only vehicle. In late 2020, Volvo electrified the entire vehicle, replacing the gas engine with a 78 kWh battery and putting electric motors in both the front and rear axles. In doing so, the XC40 Recharge added nearly 1,000 pounds to the curb weight, taking nearly 5,000 pounds. Volvo was able to retain the excellent foundation sharp drive handling of the XC40, and the electric powertrain allowed the XC40 Recharge to sprint from 0 to 60 in around 5 seconds flat, far faster than the original gas model. That said, the XC40 Recharge wasn't without fault. Real-world range came in at around 350 kilometers or 220 miles. Furthermore, there wasn't even a single electric plug in the vehicle, and the transmission column in the rear was removed, which eats up legroom. As I said in my review, I didn't feel that Volvo had fully nailed the EV game yet. The Volvo C40 is technically a continuation of the XC40's evolution from a gas-only vehicle to a fully electric one. By dropping the X from its name, the C40 is now technically Volvo's first exclusively electric vehicle, and I'm told will serve as the underpinning of Volvo's future in the EV market. Volvo aims to have half of the vehicles be full electric by 2025 and 100% of them by 2030. Volvo has doubled down on the EV revolution, investing heavily in the upscale Polestar EV brand and even helped take it public in June 2022. So back to the C40, what does it share with its sister car, the XC40 Recharge? A lot. From the front, both the XC40 and C40 are obviously very close. You will get fully LED lighting and this unique Scandinavian design style that Volvo brings to the table with its youthful design and unique panel grille. It's only when you jump to the back do you really notice the difference. For one, the lights are different for the XC40 using vertical lights. The XC40 maximizes rear cargo with a full lift tailgate and rear window. The C40's rear is closer to a coupe with horizontal lights, and to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of the crossover style look for the vehicle. The trunk opens more like a hatchback rather than a proper SUV, which makes it hard to fit large objects in the rear. The visibility is also reduced a lot in the back due to the swooping roof, which cuts around 3 inches of vehicle height. When backing out the driveway, I often had to rely on the rear view camera or the 360 system as the visibility isn't great. When we jump back inside, regardless of whether you get the C40 or the XC40, the build quality is excellent. The main visual difference interior-wise between the XC40 and C40 is the color palette, with the C40 going for lighter shades. You will get leather seats and soft touch panels with high-end finishes. You also get an amazing panoramic sunroof on both the XC40 and C40. Now, both the C40 and XC40 use the same ignition system. There isn't an on button per se. If you have the key on you, step inside the vehicle and sit down, the car will immediately sense the occupant. From there, you push the shifter straight into drive or reverse if you're backing up, and you're off. If you want to park your car, just press the P button. There aren't any switches or buttons to toggle with, you just get in and you literally drive off. It's a very simple and streamlined system, even if I still prefer the traditional push to start buttons on most cars. The infotainment system between the XC40 and C40 hasn't changed, and Volvo vehicles for 2023 and beyond will be using Google-based systems. The infotainment system is controlled via a 9-inch touchscreen. This is nice to get access to Apple CarPlay and Android Auto on top of the Google suite of features like Google Maps. Sound is provided by a premium 13-speaker sound system, which is a strong performer as expected. You can change your vehicle and climate settings through the infotainment system, as well as adjust your charging and departure schedules if you want your vehicle warmed at a certain time in the morning before work. Most of the infotainment system is controlled by the touchscreen, however there are physical buttons for the volume and defroster controls. You will control the climate and airflow via the screen though. You can also expect a 360 camera that can be turned on manually or is activated when your C40 or XC40 detects nearby objects. It's when we jump into the back that we notice the biggest difference between the C40 and the XC40. In the front, headroom and legroom are practically identical. Because of the sloped roof that cuts 3 inches of vehicle height, passengers in the rear lose around 1.7 inches of headroom. While that may not sound like a lot, the XC40 wasn't exactly massive in the rear, so the C40's lack of rear headroom can be an issue if you or your rear passengers are on the taller side. The good news though is that the seats fold down extremely flat, and both the C40 and XC40 have a ski hole in the middle seat, which helps if you ski often. So now that we've covered the exterior and interior differences, let's jump inside and take a ride. As I said in the XC40 Recharge review from earlier, the C40 shares a practically identical powertrain and drive platform. So to cut to the chase, the C40 is excellent. One thing I love about the C40, like the XC40 earlier, is how sharp and tight the handling feels. The C40 may command a higher price, but you will feel it on the road. When taking tight turns or corners, the driving experience is so engaging because there's a lot of road feel and a very tight suspension that doesn't let the car roll hard, which makes driving so much fun. When it comes to power, EV cars have really no competition in the acceleration department. Electric motors provide immediate torque and power, unlike gas or diesel engines, and because there are 2 electric motors on the C40, you can pull a 0 to 60 time in around 5 seconds, which is wicked fast for a non-sports car. Overall, I love the C40's handling just like the XC40. You should expect a rear-wheel range around 250 kilometers, which is sufficient for most cases. I would have liked if Volvo could have taken the C40 range north of 400 kilometers, as some of the competition has definitely gotten there in recent years. Last, when it comes to charging, the C40 can support up to 150 kilowatt level 3 charging, which should take a battery from 20-80% in the neighborhood of around 40 minutes, depending on weather and temperature conditions. So now that we've reached the end of the review, in many ways the C40 and XC40 are practically identical, especially from a mechanical and power plant standpoint, as they have the same motors, a battery, electric system, chassis, and design platform. They are the same car from the front. They drive practically the same, although the C40 has slightly more range than the XC40. The biggest difference for the C40 is the swooped rear roof, which drops vehicle height. The sloped coupe style roof also cuts rear headroom and visibility, which I personally didn't like. At the end of the day though, in my opinion, a choice between a C40 and XC40 boils down to if you like a crossover style vehicle. If you live in Vancouver and maybe don't need as much rear space, or you want a more urban looking vehicle, the C40 may be for you. That said, I prefer the XC40 if you're curious. So either way, you'll be making a good choice even if I prefer the XC40 myself. Thank you so much for watching, hope you learned something new from this review. Have a great rest of your day.